So in 1870, the university acquired several parcels, mostly from the city of Philadelphia, most of which was previously owned by the public hospital, the Blockley Almshouse, which lies to the south of where the hospital of the University of Pennsylvania is today. Those of you who remember the old Philadelphia General Hospital knew the successor of that. Well, this land was largely owned by the Blockley Almshouse. The bridge across the Schuylkill River that made the westward expansion of the city possible had been made permanent in 1800, and in 1850 it was used by the Pennsylvania Railroad Company to bring its tracks into the city. And in 1858, streetcar service was established from Center City to West Philadelphia, and with the streetcars came suburbanization. Penn develops here in what is essentially a streetcar suburb. And as you look down on the city of Philadelphia from here in the 1870s, from this suburban location, you would have seen rising in the center of the city as a kind of celebration of the city and its astonishing might, the Tower of City Hall, which began to be constructed in 1871 to be the tallest building in the world. And it was the tallest building in the world until 1908. An iron tower in the center of the world's largest industrial city, and your university moved to the suburbs at that point and transformed itself in keeping with that new spirit of the city. It had been a fairly quiet place until the middle years of the 19th century, and after the 1870s move, it energized itself with a new board of trustees and a reconceptualized modern vision of education, which emphasized the sciences and modern languages and what we would now call the social sciences, while continuing to support a wide range of things that we would consider the humanities, most notably the establishment of the Archaeology Museum, the Penn Museum. All that begins with a cluster of buildings built on the break of the hill in the 1870s. The university conducted a small competition to design the buildings, which were to be one building for everything except the medical school, a building for medical instruction, what is now Cohen Hall, and which you probably knew under one of its earlier names, most likely Logan Hall, and a huge complex of hospital buildings across the south of Spruce Street. All of those were built very swiftly in the 1870s, designed by the winner of the competition, who just happened to be a young architectural drawing instructor already working for Penn. He built a great Gothic revival building, as you see here. And he built the building out of probably the world's most widely used lousy building stone. A type of brown stone which happens to be green, called serpentine. And it crumbled and decayed immediately, and what you're looking at now looks pretty good because it isn't serpentine. It is ground up green stone mixed with polyester resin, and artificial replacement blocks have been slipped into place. The building originally had two towers. They were taken down almost immediately because they were falling down. Logan Hall, which had a calamitous fire in the early 20th century, was rebuilt at that time with green tinted concrete. So these green Gothic buildings that you see here are, well, there's a bit of a story behind them. What Richards did was to build in this building a building that was to house everything. You've been in the chapel. It also had the science laboratories, the classrooms, the faculty offices, the main library, and even, it said, a stable for the horse that pulled the lawnmower, that mowed the triangular lawn that the college had between here and Woodland Avenue. It was a building of a rather old-fashioned, generalized kind, and it was a storytelling building, Gothic revival, meant to make you think of another place and another time, meant to make you think of Oxford and Cambridge probably quite specifically, although they have no green buildings. In any case, the building opens in 1872, and it is almost immediately obsoleted by the university's expansion and reorganization. Penn was not led by a president, but by a provost in this period of time. Provost Steele began the reorganization of the university, beginning to create the structure that we know of departments and schools, rationally organized and related to an instructional program. His successors provosts Pepper and Harrison. Pepper is provost until 1894. Harrison is provost after that until World War I. They are the great building provosts who created and expanded the West Philadelphia campus, not by just building more old-fashioned green Gothic buildings, but by seizing the logic of American industry and of this city in particular to reorganize a university and make it as superbly attuned to what was being done here as a factory was attuned and adjusted to manufacturing large quantities of materials. Specialization becomes a key word in this. Any questions?